This is Alan Wake. We're on Xbox Series X. The game has auto HDR, and improved resolution, and an improved frame rate. So the game is looking better than it's ever looked on the Xbox platform. So this is a fantastic game. And I keep saying this because I keep going over the best games I've ever played, but this is one seriously amazing experience from Remedy. So Remedy is known for intense narrative-driven adventures, and this is another one of those. So you're basically playing as a writer trying to discover what happened to his wife. He doesn't know, and you're kind of dealing with the mystery around that while also exploring what's going on in this wooded area. It's, again, very, very narrative driven, and it's kind of done almost like a show with certain chapters and different areas to it. It's a fairly interactive environment, and one that also plays around with the idea of light and darkness. So it all loads beautifully well now. The cinematics are clean, and you really do kind of get an idea of what's going on in this world where things are starting to get bad, things are starting to get dark, and I'm trying not to spoil anything for you if you are jumping into this game, because this very well could be your first time looking at playing Alan Wake, and it is seriously worth your time. This has a great story. It's got some DLC content that kind of expands things further. There is a slight, I guess you could say, spin-off to a degree. Delights, ooh, with American Nightmare. And this is a game where I've always wanted to see where the rest of the story heads. And I hope that we eventually do, because their recent efforts with Control are basically kind of like that, if that makes sense. They're leaning in the direction of doing perhaps something more fully blown with Alan Wake down the road. So this is just a great psychological thriller. It's got good action to it, but again, the heart of this one really is focused on the story. There are collectibles to find, there are some kind of action scenes too, and you use a balance of light against the darkness. So there's certain things you have to deal with. Well, you use your flashlight in order to sort of light them up, and there's different things. There's like flares and stuff. So it's a very interactive world, one that has many hidden secrets to it, smaller little things to discover, and it's just a really, really great time. So we're mostly focusing in on showcasing, you know, the style of the game, so you get a sense of the atmosphere. Again, trying absolute best to not ruin anything of what this game has to offer, because it's such a worthwhile time with this beautiful backdrop, and there's so many little interactive elements. I also love that about the Remedy games, is you can really sort of interact with aspects of the environment, and I think that's really quite cool. So it's also, it can be a little scary at times, I guess you could say. There's a cool concert type situation that you might find yourself in as well when you get out there and you get playing. It's something where you should maybe take your time and really look around and see what the world has to offer, because there are so many little things you can come across, and weird TV situations too, and you know, it's a game that's just got a lot going on in it. So many deeper little things, so many interesting themes and dynamics to the play. It's kind of exciting to witness, and it's just such a great experience. Oh, there's the light. Does it say Night Springs? Yeah, there's a whole meta thing with that one. But yeah, this is just one outstanding experience. It truly is worth your time if you've never played it before. The other Remedy games are also fantastic. I'm a big fan of like Quantum Break, and you know, Control also is one of the better games I've played this generation. I absolutely love that one. I can't wait to showcase what that one has going with it, because even on PC, the RTX, the ray tracing and stuff on that was absolutely mind-blowing. But yeah, it's just something that really is an exciting world, and it gets intense. Like, this is just like a calm moment because I'm not necessarily rushing towards the action. Whereas if I was playing this regularly, I definitely would be doing that because I want to get to the next part of the story. But there's so much little extra bits to it that could be told as you're going around, sort of figuring out, what's going on. And it's these like hidden elements that really make this such an enticing experience. It's hard to dive into without picking apart the story elements of it, but it's just a really great sense of mystery where you want to keep playing because you want to know what happens or what's happened or even what's going on. And it's something that really sticks with you with so many sort of dynamic and intense moments to it that I think you'll definitely be surprised by what it has to offer as you go around this little small town. You get lost in these intense forests because it is something that is very much a linear sort of game, but it's one where you could potentially, go off the path a little bit and see some more intense things going on here. And that's kind of wild. It gets a little bit intense. Oh, there's Doggo. And you've really got to deal with certain creatures and stuff of the night. We haven't really seen that, but we're going to get a little bit of a tease in a sec here. But it's just really, really neat how it plays around with certain, I guess you could say, mechanics. You're not necessarily doing like puzzle solving and stuff, but there's like interactive elements. It feels like something that's not just a game. It's really quite beyond what just a traditional game would be like, because it leans so heavily into the story elements. And again, it can get a little spooky, needless to say. So that's kind of fun. And you're interacting with all of these different parts of the environment in a really interesting way. As you can see, stuff's starting to get a little wild now. And you're going to have to start dealing with some of the darkness a little bit. And that's kind of the fun of it, is using the light and being kind of scared of that, because sometimes it's like, okay, well, light's running low. Or if you're out in the darker segments of the world, having to basically actually run from light source to light source and deal with that. And I think that's kind of a fun little element of the game too. And I hope I'm really getting across just how outstanding this sort of experience is. Those intense moments where you're like, oh, stuff's getting real here. And it just can be really, kind of intense as you deal with the darkness that's coming towards you. Because it could get rather insane. And there's so many, just kind of memorable moments that you witness as you battle against the darkness, because this is just kind of a smaller part of it. Like I said, there's this whole crazy, rock stage thing. There are these weird sort of darkness environmental aspects. Oh, jeez, I was not expecting that. It's not necessarily a hard game, I guess you could say, but that's really the point of it. It's not supposed to be that sort of thing. It's supposed to be an engaging story that you're really getting lost in and you're experiencing and being blown away by as you're discovering all of these intense locations and really taking in what this crazy experience has to offer, because it is something that plays around with the thriller theme so well in an almost terrifying, unique way. And it's just another one of the, I guess you could say, almost perfect Remedy experiences. One that will keep you kind of guessing and also wanting more, and leave you with the thought of, hey, why don't we have a direct sequel yet? We've been waiting so long. Why didn't this happen? Because this is one of one of the dynamic 360 games that I don't think got the attention that it really, deserved back in the day, because it was so great. And that auto HDR is just kind of amazing. It really does add a nice little bit of, visual flair to the game. I think that's really great. But anyways, that's Alan Wake. Such a majestic time, such a great game. And I hope I didn't really spoil anything, and then you can jump into this and find Lover's Peak for your own.